Good evening. Breaking news to start with. Tonight's a major disappointment, not only for sports fans, but also for the province, as Vancouver is no longer in the running to be an NHL host city for hockey during the pandemic. CTV's Penny Daflos is following this late-breaking story tonight. She is live at Rogers Arena. And Penny, for a while there, it looked like Vancouver was in a pretty good position, had a pretty good chance here. So what happened?
Well, you know, we are getting dribs and drabs of the answer to that question, Scott. A short time ago, the Premier tweeted that while this is disappointing, they did not want to bend the rules for the NHL. And throughout the day, the rumor mill had been pointing towards the idea that if a player were to test positive for COVID-19, what's going to happen? Well, it turns out Dr. Henry told us there could be a temporary suspension of play as they try to do contact tracing. But it's also interesting that earlier in the day, about an hour before the Canucks made it official, Dr. Henry pushed back on some of that scuttlebutt.
It is pure speculation that that is the reason why the NHL, if they even have, has ruled out Vancouver. So I think there's a lot out there in the media. I don't know what those discussions were. I've not been told. We all have the very same, at least here in Canada, I know from my colleagues, we have the same approach.
Fast forward to 4:30 and this tweet from the Canucks that erased all doubt. The team thanked Henry and the province for their support, but confirmed they're out as a host city as the NHL tries to salvage a season that will always have an asterisk next to it. Our TSN colleagues say European players like Pettersson and Eriksson will start arriving this weekend for training camp, and others point out there was not much of an upside to being a hub city aside for bragging rights and the coolness factor.
I was never convinced, and I don't think fans for the most part were that convinced that this needed to be the hub city because of the lack of fan availability. They won't be able to get autographs, they won't be able to go to the games. So really, was this a need for this town from a fan perspective? I don't think so.
Yeah, good point there for sure, Penny. But how are cities like Las Vegas, still with significantly rising case numbers, still in the running here?
Well, it's because there's this idea of the bubble. The NHL is trying to make it so the players are only really staying at their hotel and going to games. No real outside human interaction. But, you know, a lot of people are saying a bubble is only as good as how closely people inside that bubble actually follow the rules. So as far as players are concerned, Edmonton may feel a little bit safer with, comparatively low infection numbers. But overall, as far as the fans are concerned as well, Scott, you have to think that wherever the players go that they can stay healthy, the greater the chances that they can actually finish the playoffs.